Philadelphia is truly the place to be this summer. So add the Match Room to your list. It's a limited time sports lounge experience at Four Seasons Hotel Philadelphia, open now through July 19th. Located on the 59th floor, the space has been designed for watching international soccer matches. There's elevated food and drink options, including dishes you can share, and the best views of the city. Plan your visit now. Make those reservations on fourseasons.com/Philadelphia/dining and experience the Match Room before it's gone. While fireworks shows have ended, Philly is still a noisy place. Just listen to the L train rolling by. Neighbors yelling at each other from across the street. And Mr. Softee's jingle playing on a loop. But are there noises that make the city's soundscape special? We're listening back to my conversation with executive producer Matt Katz and newsletter editor Siani Colón about which noises piss us off, which ones we love, and which ones we just have to live with. It's Monday, July 6th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly sounds like. Hey, Matt. Hey, Siani. All right, let's get into these noise complaints. This idea for this particular episode came about because we heard about complaints that City Council is getting from residents of Northern Liberties about the sounds coming from the Mr. Softee ice cream truck. You can read more about this in the Philadelphia Citizen article. The headline, Mr. Softee, shut up!
It's such a great headline. It caught our attention. It was so great. Like, Mr. Softee, shut up. And we all sort of we could sympathize with the people of Northern Liberties who were bitching about the Mr. Softee truck blaring every day at the same time. The writer of that article, Kristen D'Amelio, she wrote that she actually asked Mr. Softee in her neighborhood to, quote, turn down the jingle when illegally parked outside of her home. And Mr. Softee replied, I don't have to do anything. The driver said, The driver then turned the jingle up so loudly, according to Kristen, that the speakers of the truck strained. And the thing is, in Philly, the driver actually doesn't have to do anything. The ice cream truck business in our city is almost totally unregulated, it turns out. Only 2 trucks in the city have even registered as businesses with the city. And like in New York City, it's actually illegal for an ice cream truck to play music or Muzak or whatever that song is when they're parked. Like, you can play it when you're driving, but you can't play it when you're parked. And really, it is incredibly annoying. And by the way, Trenae, for our listeners who might not be familiar with what Mr. Softee sounds like, you did some serious journalism and you actually tracked down a Mr. Softee truck and brought the sound back for us.
I heard it in the distance in my neighborhood. I literally was still typing for the show, and I ran so fast with my phone outside the door. My kids were like, Mom, what are you doing? I went to the porch and I had the phone up like, I'm going to get this sound.
Well, thank you for getting it.
You're welcome. Everyone needs to know what this sound is. And my God, not a single soul, not even a little child came running out. You know why? Because there's better places to get ice cream in Philly.
I definitely agree. I think the local ice cream scene is way more creative when it comes to the different flavors. So much so we have an episode on just that. And I can understand the jingle getting tiring if it's parked for too long. But when I first saw that article, I'm like, come on now, there are definitely worse noises in the city. And maybe I'm less bothered because we don't really see Mr. Softee out as much as we used to. But I always associated the trucks with like the sound of summer, even though they'll sometimes be randomly out in February for some reason. But I don't know, it could be my nostalgia talking, just like remembering like rushing to my parents and asking for $1 so I can rush back out and get my soft serve.
Well, similar to the annoying Mr. Softee ice cream truck jingle, Philly has like a very distinctive sound that we usually hear in summer or on some really nice days. And that is from the so-called boom cars. This is when a car, a slingshot, one of those like two-seater, no rooftop type of cars are blasting music literally for the whole block to hear, the whole neighborhood to hear.
Oh, yeah.
When my kids played football and did cheerleading in Hunting Park for the North Philly Aztecs, the kids could not hear their coaches. They couldn't hear their teammates. And even worse, the refs during games. So over the years, the community has tried to compromise with the noise levels. I read an article that Philadelphia police started cracking down on this. They were giving out tickets like up to $2,000.
Whoa.
Listen, I was driving around Strawberry Mansion recently, and I literally saw a guy. He had taped a box speaker in the window on the passenger side. So the music is going out of the car, not coming in the car. And we just
classic.
stopped and was like, yo, do you see this? This is insane.
I mean, that's amazing. I don't think cops are giving tickets. Literally last night outside my house. I mean, it's hard to hear, but I Shazammed it, and it was Where You Baby Daddy, which is a song I never heard of, but now I'm into. And it wasn't the cops that got them to stop blaring the music. They had the windows open. They were outside twerking. The whole thing, it was 10 o'clock at night. It was my neighbor across the street who was like, yo, come on now. And, they turned it down and they closed the doors and they drove away. I mean, it's like a kind of a self-policing thing in Philly. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, I love hearing the random music coming out of cars driving by my house. I had a friend who once made a playlist of all the songs that he heard playing out of cars driving by his house in Philly. I mean, I keep the window open when it's not oppressively hot outside just to get a full soundtrack of summer life in Philly. So I find it in certain doses charming.
So you can live with those sounds.
I can live with those sounds to a certain degree. I mean, if it's like, middle of the night and I'm sleeping, I'm comfy, and then I'm up because some jabroni's playing Where You Baby Daddy outside my house, then I'm going to be pissed off. But if it's, the afternoon and they've got some summer hits that they're blasting out of the car, and I heard a song I haven't heard in a long time, and if it has a nice vibe to it, then I'm into it. Yeah, sure.
Okay. You did mention how Philadelphians self-police each other. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering about that. I feel like I've definitely heard lovers having a fight.
Oh, yeah.
So yelling at each other, cursing each other out.
Do you listen or do you
Of course I listen.
Yeah, you want the tea, right?
Yeah. One time it got so bad, the lady's this was in my neighborhood, and the lady was like, and get out. And he's like, I'm never coming back, you beep, 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 beep. And my neighbor, a few houses down, was like, hey, are you okay? And I'm just watching this whole thing that was really nice. And guess what? Yesterday, I saw old boy came back around.
Oh, he's back.
He's back. Anyway, I'm okay with neighbors yelling. I can live with that.
Yeah. What about neighbors having a full-on conversation across the street from each other so the whole block can hear? How do you feel about that? Not even a yelling. They're just yelling, but it's a normal conversation. It's just at a very high volume because they're on separate stoops across the street from each other.
Loud conversations are okay. I'm okay with that. People are loud talkers. And sometimes you don't realize, it's funny when people don't realize, I'm like, you have to give them a cue, you want to just turn your volume down a little bit,
Right.
But some people, I am a loud laugher. I laugh loudly. I get it from my mom, my grandma. We laugh loudly in this house. And I know my kids used to like like, Mom, you're like so loud. I'm like, I'm sorry. The stuff is funny. Like, I'm going to laugh. So I feel like loud conversations from people I can live with.
The density of our city, you can just hear, you hear those like lover quarrels. You hear people laughing. You hear your neighbors talking across the street to each other. I feel like that, breeds a sense of community to me.
But I feel like, yes, and I'm okay with all of that, right? But I think there are moments when you should monitor yourself or just be aware of where you are. So, like on SEPTA, at the grocery store, at the nail salon. I hear so much gossip at the nail salon. Like, I'm just like, please just put some earbuds in, put some headphones in. It's okay. Just get some headphones. They're cheap, because I may not want to hear your conversation in certain places because I'm trying to decompress from my crazy, stressful day at the nail salon. I don't want to hear about the drama with your boyfriend.
On speakerphone, on Zoom.
Speakerphone.
Crazy.
Speakerphone is always the biggest crime. I remember I was riding the L and the seat across from me was detailing very explicitly a very raunchy night she had with a man. And it was just like, now why am I in it? I don't
Let's get the details. No, just kidding.
I'm just trying to go to Center City. So it's just, I don't know. It also really intrigues me just how bold people are to just share things in such detail in public. But yeah, speakerphone conversations, people who are like watching YouTube videos at full volume, again, all on the bus. It's just like, this is such a tight space.
Right. That's so grating. That sound of that coming out the phone.
Yeah. That I can't live with. We've got more on the sounds of Philly after the break. As you begin to make your itinerary for summer, add Brooklyn Bowl to the list. Brooklyn Bowl is a perfect blend of live music, bowling, beer, and food. It's located in Fishtown next to the Fillmore. 24 bowling lanes, 2 bars, and a restaurant featuring food from the Blue Ribbon Restaurant Group. It's open Thursday through Saturday evenings with live shows and parties every week. Half-price bowling Thursdays, family bowl Saturdays, plus food and drink specials in the restaurant during Phillies games. Go to brooklynbowl.com/Philadelphia to purchase tickets to shows, make a restaurant reservation, or inquire about hosting your next private event on the Brooklyn Bowl lanes. Soccer has taken over Philly, and when the World Cup rolls out, the party doesn't stop because we have professional soccer right here. The Philadelphia Union returned to play to host rivals Red Bull New York on July 22nd. If you've never seen a match, now's your chance with the first match on us. If you have seen a game, enter today to win VIP tickets to watch Inter Miami take on the Philadelphia Union when Lionel Messi comes to town on August 18th. Register for both at philaunion.co/citycast. Listen, if you're like me and you want to save some cash, check out Arbor. Arbor helps you pay less on your electric bill at no cost. You might not realize the supply part of your Pico bill, the actual electricity, is the part you can change. It's also where rates have been climbing. Arbor is independent. They work for you, not the utility. They secure a better rate plan from vetted suppliers. You keep Pico as your utility, and only your supply changes. There's no cost, no fees. You can cancel anytime. The suppliers pay Arbor, never you. And there's more than 1,300 Philadelphia households who are already using Arbor. So go to joinarbor.com/citycast and sign up. It only takes about 2 minutes. Siani and Matt, I can't wait to hear from more of our neighbors about what they love about Philly and what sounds are driving them crazy.
or sounds that they like.
Oh, yeah, those sounds that we like. We gotta talk about fireworks. I keep getting notifications on my Ring camera, like the neighborhood alerts or whatever. And people are like, is it fireworks? Is it gunshots?
Yes. That's when my kids have grown up learning the distinction. It's sort of dark and sad, but also important to know how they sound differently.
Every year, there's a group that sets off fireworks near my house that feel way more powerful than other fireworks people are setting off on their blocks. They probably got started around like 7, and at one point it died down. I was like, oh, they're finally done. Nope. They went all the way past midnight, and I'm like, come on, y'all. It's July 5th. Let's move on. And I put on my earplugs because I usually use them at like concerts. And even then, it still wasn't enough. The booms were just so loud. I'm like, what do we need this for?
Oh, you said earplug. I never thought about getting those. I think I need to invest.
Definitely worth the investment for sure.
Good for car alarms.
Yes. Car alarms are crazy because you never know whose car it is. You can't say, hey, Matt, your car's going off. It is so random. It happens at the most inconvenient times.
May 25th, 2021, I log on to my neighborhood Facebook page. I just looked up this post, so I'm going to quote it for you guys.
This is back in 2021, you said?
This is back in 2021. I went back to grab this because I remember this night so well. I took a picture of this car. I posted it on the neighborhood Facebook page. I wrote, if this is your black Subaru, or you know whose it is, its remarkably loud car alarm has been going off intermittently since 2:45 a.m. on my block. Please come turn it off. Thanks.
What was the response?
First of all, when I read back on this, I see that I was very passive aggressive about the whole thing. I say please and thank you, but also I've been up since 2:45 a.m., right?
Yeah.
To make it clear. My wife posted under my post. And she didn't take the same tone as I did. She posted, quote, for the love of God, please park it in a black hole if possible. I thought that was funny.
And it's like, it depends on like the type of alarm it is too. Cause I think it's like the older cars where they have like that multi-tone one. You know, the one that's like, wee woo, wee woo,
Yes, the
like, what is all of this? And then it just keeps going.
Or it stops and then you think it's done and then it just comes back on.
No, and it's done, and then like a car drives by, like blasting. There's something booming, and then that kind of like triggers the alarm.
Yes.
Right.
I've always wondered about that.
Yes.
Okay. So those sounds, we just cannot live with. Now, on the flip side, obviously emergency, sirens, it is what it is. Those are sounds that, we just have to live with. I just got to get this one in there. The dogs!
You don't like the dogs.
Lord.
You don't like when they're barking in the middle of the night because someone left them in the backyard? You don't like them when suddenly they see another dog and they start going crazy?
Dogs are like the car alarms. Like, you don't know where the dog is sometimes.
Totally.
It's just so random. It just happens. Although, it annoys me, I think that's a sound that, we just have to live with.
It comes in clutch, though, because my neighbor, he leaves his dogs out on the deck, and sometimes it's frustrating on, like, days where I'm recording, although right now it's pretty quiet. But there's been times that it's, like, 2 a.m., and I hear the dogs barking. And while that might seem annoying, that triggers me of, like, okay, who's walking out back at 2 o'clock in the morning? Like, what's going on back there? So I find that helpful of like, the dogs help see, like, if there's some activity that shouldn't be happening, the dogs alert me first.
You know what? That is a good point. All right. Maybe I'll rethink my position on that. Let's talk about sounds that we love or we can deal with. I was thinking of other sounds. Sometimes it's kind of random. I sometimes hear like a faint church bell in my neighborhood. And that sound, it doesn't really bother me. Maybe because I'm not as close to the church. Maybe if I was, if I lived closer, it might bother me a little bit more because I'd be more sensitive to it. But the church bells that sometimes go off, they go off because they're telling us the time. They're, indicating that there's a mass. And I'm okay with church bells, but not everyone is okay with church bells.
Yeah, I remember there was this essay I read in The Atlantic from 2022 called Why Do Rich People Love Quiet? And it talked about the day-to-day sounds of New York City's working class neighborhoods that were disappearing as these communities were being gentrified. And with that came this enforcement, this kind of community policing of sound. And to some points, kind of a ridiculous degree when these sounds were just the norm of the neighborhood. And I saw this article circulating again when some Fishtown residents had some mixed reactions about the bells at one of their churches that were just repaired. Some people thought it was lovely to hear it again. Some were indifferent. And others thought they were a bit too loud, with one comment that said, "Can someone pass along that I hate hearing the bells and that it should be illegal to terrorize your neighbors with the sounds of impending doom? Thank you."
Why does everyone want these dramatic endings to
Yeah, right. To the sounds to be right.
I mean your wife was like, "Park it in a black hole."
And tossed the bells with it.
Yeah. Wait, Siani, what church was this?
This was the Holy Name of Jesus Church. And they eventually did adjust the bells. They listened to people's feedback. And hopefully people consider it fine now. And I think it's kind of an example of how longtime and newer residents may differ on what feels like acceptable noise in the neighborhood, especially if they feel like some sort of a connection, like older Fishtown residents who remember when the bells used to ring. They're like, "Oh, it's so nice that this is back." Well, people who are new and haven't heard it before is just like, what is this disruption?
I mean, this goes back to what I was saying in yesterday's episode about listen, if you move to a neighborhood, how dare you start demanding change? Adapt to it, right? I don't know. That's just my opinion. But Matt, do church bells annoy you?
Huge fan of church bells. I don't hear them as much anymore because there are simply fewer churches. They've been knocked down. A couple have been converted into homes, apartment buildings. And so I miss them. But there are several other sounds that I just love. I love the sounds of kids playing at recess from the schoolyard 3 blocks away. So from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., any day where it's more than 45 degrees, you just hear, kids, screeching and screaming, and they're just ecstatic. And it's a happy, happy sound. During the Penn Relays over at Franklin Field at the University of Pennsylvania, I could hear announcements about who's up and running. I can't actually hear the words clearly, but I hear the announcer over the PA system. And that's totally amazing to me because I live on the other side of the Schuylkill River and the sound just travels. I think it's so cool how sound traveling can make the city feel closer and smaller than it is. So love those sounds.
So what is the bigger picture here? What did we learn about sounds in Philly?
I think noise can be disruptive, but it can also be communal. Philly has over 1 million people in it. So you're going to hear a bunch of different sounds from the people to the wildlife. But I think it's a nice reminder of how many others are alive and sharing this experience with you. When it comes to noise, I just think about the first few months of the pandemic when the world just stopped and just how eerie it was of just how quiet the city was and, that feeling of isolation because there weren't a lot of activities going on. So it's all these sounds, whether they're kind of annoying or really fun, they're just a reminder that we're still here and we're investigating a noise. It's a chance to talk to each other. And I think like Porch Fest, that's a great example of people coming out together for love of different types of sounds. I love the roar of the fans in the stadiums that get at such high decibel levels. You can hear them way beyond Packer Park. You know, the sound of the L in a distance when it's nice and quiet at night. It's all these sounds of the city I just love because it's a reminder of everything else that's around us.
I love that, Siani. And I love the mix of the sounds. You get the organic sounds, like you can hear birds chirping. I mean, we are not a concrete jungle. We got plenty of little backyards and trees. So we get our birds chirping, unlike maybe in other cities. But we also have those like electronic sounds of cars going by with the music blasting that indicate life and a city that's alive. And the mix of those two things, I think, is a beautiful thing. But my favorite Philly sound, 2 words. Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
Go Birds.
And that sound of go Birds, it's not just go Birds. It is the go Birds. That Philly.
Right.
The Philly dialect. All right, Matt, Siani, thank you so much for talking about Philly sounds with me today.
See you, Trenae.
Listen to you tomorrow.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about the noises that we hear in this city, share this with a friend. Also, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. And don't forget, you can support the show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Philly neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And we've got some upcoming events we're planning. You don't want to miss it. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.